Postman Pat, and his black and white Postman Pat, cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, you know, it's bags in his van. Postman Pat, and his black and white singing, and the day is just beginning. Pat feels he's a really rosy man. Everybody knows his brow. All his friends will smile, waves to greet them. Maybe. You can never be sheep of an angry. Ring letters through your door, your door. Postman, Pat feels he's a really happy man. Pat feels he's flat. Pat feels he's man. It was a special Pat, but he was keeping it a secret. Sejnevan, don't you give my secret away. Mrs. Goggs was looking out for Pat. She was very pleased about that, but zeal, something. Hello, Pat. She said, there's a lot of post today. Pat didn't look too it was for him. But who could be writing to Pat? One envelope had a drawing of a cat on it, and the writing looked very much like the drawing of a cat on it. Why don't you open them? Then you'll know who sent them. So Pat did. What a surprise. They were all birthday cards.
Cat on it.
There was one from every cat on his round. That was nice. But how did everyone know it was his birthday? He'd kept it a secret all these years, and now they all knew. Funny. How on earth they found out, I couldn't say. But let me wish you a happy birthday too, and many happy returns. Pat bought kittens. Then gathered up all his cards, and letters, and went on his way. He owes At Greendale Farm, green twins were looking out for Pat. Happy birthday, they said as he came in with the post. Thank you. Mrs. Pottage in the kitchen showed the twins his card.
We've made you a cake. Yeah, goes the envy.
How did you know it was my birth? Said Pat.
We're not telling, said Mrs. Pottage. It's a secret.
It was a secret, said Pat with a laugh. Said Pat with a laugh.
Here's a sugar mouse for Sam, you see. Sugar mouse for Jess,
said Tom. Thank you. Now let me see. Have I got everything? Cake, mouse, cards. Goodbye.
Post.
Jess spotted the mouse. He thought he'd catch it before it got lost. No, say, for tea time, it won't run away. But Jess wasn't so sure. Hello. A letter for you. Oh, you. Been expecting this. And here's something for you to greet you on your birthday. You, said Pat. It was a leather-bound letter for... Oh, thank you. But how did you know? Very kind of you.
Goodbye.
Godspeed. There were some letters for Sir Elmer Soet. Pat arrived just in time for a cup of tea. He is... Thank you for your letter. Alf Thompson came in. Hello, Pat, he said. Happy birthday. He gave him a walking stick with a handle made from a horn. He'd made it himself. That'll be good for keeping dogs off. Thanks, said Pat. But how did you know it was my birthday? Oh, you'll have to find that out for yourself. Just keep your eyes open, said Alf, smiling. You're quite a famous postman, you know. Whatever does he mean? He was getting more and more and his van was filling up with presents. Gendit says thought the horn might butt him when he wasn't looking. Granny Dryden was busy cooking. Post! Whatever was it? Cooking when Pat arrived with the letters. He'd brought her groceries too, as the mobile shop couldn't get up the lane to her cottage. Morning, in. Morning. Post. Granny Dryden had knitted something for Pat's birthday. Whatever was it? A woolly vest. It'll keep you warm in the winter, said Granny Dryden. It looked very itchy. But Pat said, "Thank you, it's just the right size. How did you know it was my birthday?" "Eh? I can't hear a word you say," said Granny Dryden. "I need a new battery in my hearing aid." Eh? I can't hear a word you say." I'll bring you one tomorrow," said Pat. "Goodbye." "Eh? I can't hear a word you say." At Miss Hubbard's cottage, there was a glass of fruit juice waiting for Pat. There were 2 letters for her. Miss Hubbard drank his health and wished him a happy birthday. "Cheers." Gave him a steering wheel cover. "Thank you. That's lovely." She didn't tell him how she knew it was his birthday. "Goodbye." At Intake Farm, George Lancaster showed Pat his special prize hens. Pat. "They are the champion layers." "Just look at that." He gave him 2 dozen for his birthday school. "Thanks for the eggs, George." Then Sam Waldron arrived and gave Pat a punnet of strawberries and a carton of double cream for his birthday tea. Thank you, Sam. Bum 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 bidum dum dilly dum bum bum rum bum bum badum bum bum bum. Lucy was on the lookout for Pat at the village school. The children had made a picture of him on a big sheet with "Happy Birthday" underneath and all their names. They'd also made a model of his van, but they wouldn't tell him how they knew it was his birthday. Pat had presents for them, a chocolate each and the eggs from George Lancaster. Goodbye. The day's round was nearly finished. Pat was just looking to see if there were any letters to collect when Peter Fogg came along on his tractor. He stopped to wish Pat a happy birth. Pat told him how everyone seemed to know about it. "Don't you know why?" said us. "Yeah, one ain't no," said Peter Fogg, laughing. "I wish I did," said Pat. Peter showed him a newspaper. It was this week's Pencaster Gazette. "Have a look at this," he said. Pat was amazed. There was an article about him, headed Post. It told all about his work, how he everyone, where he was born, and the date of his birth. "Well," said Pat, "I'll show it to the wife. She will be pleased." "All right, Jess, I'm coming, but we're off home now." "It's a pity no one knows when it's your birth. We'll have a little party tonight." Postman Pat, and his black and white cat.